What's going on, everybody? I'm here with my boy Ron, and he's getting ready to hit the dyno up in his Royal Crimson Sexy SS 550. Ron, tell us a little bit about your car.
It's a ESS G3X, 100mm pulley, 4 fuel system, dual pump, FIC 1440s, and headers, and that's it. Haven't done no oil pump gears, no axles, nothing.
What?
That's every part I've done to it.
Nice. And so you're the third ESS car to run them down today, right? Mm-hmm. What's the difference between yours and the other two?
The G3 is a bigger head unit than the other two that have ran, and the X means it has a billet impeller, so they can spin it to higher RPM without worrying about harming it.
Nice.
So should make more power and should be allowed to spin higher.
And you had this dyno once before, correct? Mm-hmm. What did it make?
It made 860 the first time from at 7,500 RPM. No filter on it anymore. Now it has velocity stack, and it is going to be revving a lot higher on a more aggressive tune with more timing.
What are you taking it to? 8,000. Love it.
Grand.
And now that we're revving it higher, we're doing all that stuff. What do you think this baby's gonna make?
If it makes 920 or more, I will be ecstatic.
Gotcha.
If it makes anything more than 860, I will be content.
Cool. And I know you've tracked this once at least before. What did it run your best time so far?
Best time is 1020 at 140, shifting at 7,000 RPM.
Gotcha. And that was your very first time on the car?
Yes, and at 7,000 RPM, it's making about 800 horsepower. So
nice.
It has a lot more left in it, again, with no real suspension upgrades, just a tire.
All right.
Oh, ready to go.
Away we go. I think he's nervous too, Ron. What it make? 879?
Yeah, low.
What do you think?
I think he's short shifted it.
Ron, go see him at about a horsepower.
Do it 6.
Anybody got some TJ1?
So you're running 85, 15 pounds of boost,
Yep.
velocity stack, and you made
880.
880, okay.
Yeah, on a hard tire, so not on a slick or anything.
So then this weekend you took it out to the track.
Yep.
And we're talking heated, cooled seats, drove it there.
The only thing I have for weight reduction is those front brakes and a rear seat delete, which really isn't any lighter than stock. And it ran a 987 at 147 with
Damn.
a 1.68 60 foot.
So what was faster than you there? We kind of talked about it earlier, but
A big tire trailer 68 Camaro. Other than that, nothing else outside of a cammed Hayabusa was close. Everything else was second off or so. The cammed Hayabusa ran like a 990 at 140.
damn. And without getting too specific, if I wanted to do this to my own car, what would I expect to be in, like all in, with what you've got done?
If you bought a new fuel system,
Yep.
10 grand in parts.
10 grand in parts.
Yeah, and
Damn.
this blower, as one of my friends demonstrated, can be installed in 7 hours in a garage on jack stands with hand tools.
Yeah, so he's talking about Chris. So if you guys want to see a video with Chris, comment, subscribe, say something, do something. But yeah, we also have 3 ESS cars, including yours, that I know of, right here in town.
Yeah.
So I would definitely love to get a video of all 3 guys lined up next to each other, kind of talk about your cars, what it cost, what you guys have done. Because Jason, who's been on previously with the white car, tell us about his setup and how it compares to yours.
So his is a G2 with a G3 intercooler. So he has the same size intercooler as I do, but his head unit flows about 200 CFM less, and it cannot put out as much boost. So that's kind of their budget entry kit. But on Gen 3 cars, it's still good, up past 800 horsepower.
And we just took Jason to the dyno as well, same day, and he made, I think it was just under 700 with his too.
It was like 680, I think, but it was on E30.
E30, that's
but
right.
He has a stock fuel system outside of a booster pump and a set of injectors.
And he's also been in the 10s with that car once upon a time.
Yeah. Yeah, 10, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 2.
Downhill.
Yeah. With the
wind.
backwind.
Yeah. Got it.
Love you, Jason.
So if there was someone in the group or just in Iowa that you would want to race, who would you want to race? Who's the person that you want to like just kick him in the dick?
I don't really have any, but like I have a couple of friends with leader bikes. I think that'd be a lot of fun. See what it has against a leader bike. But right now, a 9-second car in Iowa, at least, that lives in a weird spot where it's either you're racing full race cars or you're racing a street car that runs 11s. So you're kind of in a weird spot with a 9-second car.
When do you get around this turn? So you can see the hill. I can see your gauge. So everyone knows, full disclosure, I'm not a fan of Century cars.
No.
Ron's trying to.
And you give me endless shit for it.
I do. And we'll continue probably. No doubt your car's badass though.
I had to change my seating position at the strip.
I'm curious to see what this feels like. I'm hoping it feels like my car, like just but smoother, obviously, with the auto and Century. Damn, dude, that was 130-ish.
135.
135.
Speedo's a little off.
Damn, that rips. It definitely rips.
Yeah, you can tell the trans is kind of not exactly happy with its situation.
So we just, when did we start at, like 30?
That was a 40 roll.
40 roll. So, I mean, it felt like it just went. We got with the program went.
Yeah. And right now, the transmission has 59,000 miles on it. It was never meant for anything more than 700 horsepower. So the fact that it's still alive, whatever, that's all I can ask for. But it's starting to slip. You can hear it, you can feel it. It went bop, bop, and then shifts. It shouldn't do that. It should bop, shift. So, but what it's doing is it's actually cutting its spark. I looked in the log, it's cutting all timing, so it shifts. So it doesn't kill the clutches when it shifts.
I will say it was very smooth. So, like, your car actually felt fast. Again, not saying Jason's car is not fast, because it is.
Yeah, but this is 300 more horsepower.
It's just, his car doesn't have that put me in the back of the seat thing. Now, once I get my tires back on my car, I definitely have to give you a ride mine.
Yeah.
It's just so much it's crazy, even though my car still feels way different.
Yeah.
But I'm also sitting in the passenger seat, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah, passenger seat feels so much faster than the passenger seat.
Yeah, it's bizarre. But, and I again, still a turbo fan. But, so my cousin works at Quick Performance.
Yeah.
And, which they're a rear end manufacturer, those who don't know. And he was telling me, like, 5 years ago, everyone went to Twins. Everyone and their fucking brother went to Twins. And then trying to maintain those, or maintenance them rather, at the track was a huge headache. Everyone switched right back to Pro Chargers.
Yeah.
And Centuries, mostly Pro Chargers.
That's why NHRA has a Century class again. That's why they have a Pro Charger class.
Interesting.
They're slower than turbo cars, but they are in their own class now.
Right. He's like, well, I'm like, why would they do that? He's like, because they can change the stuff in a matter of minutes.
Well, me and Chris put a different belt and a different pulley on this car in 30 minutes on a hot engine and made the track.
See, that's what I find
tools.
very interesting with the ESS kit. And so I came from the 2-valve 4.6 world. We had to take the blowers off the car. You don't have to do that, is that right?
That's why I chose an ESS kit. An ESS kit is mounted kind of like a Pro Charger, except it doesn't have the auxiliary crank pulley on the end of the crank snout. So I don't have to worry about snapping the crank off, at least any more than I would have to with a Whipple with a turbo kit. So because of that, and because of the way it's mounted, that's why I went with them. Because otherwise, a Century is a Century is a Century, and a MAF is a MAF is a MAF. They're all the same, tuning-wise. You just kind of have to pick your poison with what you want when it comes to how you want it to look under the hood.
So ultimately, what made you go with the ESS piece over a turbo, over a Whipple, like you just said?
Whipple, because it would have taken so long, and the kit that I wanted was $12,000.
For just the blower,
Yes,
no fuel.
There's no fuel system. That's $12,000 because I wanted a polished Whipple, and that would have been big money.
Really, not black, huh?
No, polished. It looks great. But turbo kit, it's not going to be a race car. If this, like, I want to do an S197, TH400, turbos, that kind of stuff, but that's going to be a race car. I don't want to have to screw around with this car. I haven't had to open the hood to fix anything with this vehicle since I got it back about 3,000 miles ago, and it's been living at 800 plus horsepower since then. Belts are fine. All I have to do is oil changes in the supercharger, and that's it.
Do you have Grip Tech pulleys on here, or?
It's ESS pulleys, but I have a Gates belt. Grip Tech now does work with ESS a little bit, where you can get an 87.5 millimeter pulley, but I haven't seen anybody run that because people have seen 1,000 horsepower on 95 millimeter pulleys. It's at that point, it's what do you really want to make? And if you really want, ESS will sell you a bigger blower that's on LS stuff, been proven to make 1,300 to the tire. So, how much more do you really need?
So, speaking of how much more do you need, what are your plans for this thing this winter?
This winter, I don't know about how much I'm gonna do to this car, but for sure it's getting a converter. The next thing is a converter and a built trans. I already have Power by the Hour sending me a quote to ship the trans down to them, have it built, and then put a Circle D converter in it, and then see if the motor lives, and then if it doesn't, TKM motor, and then I want to run an 8 and make 1,000 to the tire with the dyno number to prove it. So, because there's nothing quite like having a dyno number to lay on people's faces.
So you barely pulled off the dyno win this year by 45 power points, we'll call it.
No.
So are you nervous for next year at all?
No, because I don't think anybody else has enough of a